Good morning. So today we are moving on from harvest a little bit, kind of. We aren't even done harvest yet. We still have these 6-8 rows left of Elba to be harvested, but we've got to wait till next week because the skins haven't hardened up on them yet. So we'll wait for those to harden up. But in the meantime, we are going to pick the rocks off this field and then start to chisel plow the sides of it, not get in our way for next week finishing harvest, but just get what we can get done. So Justin's running the rock picker on the white 105, and he is going to pick up the rocks that we dumped from the harvester that the harvester would have picked up and collected. I dumped them into piles and he'll come pick the piles up. So here's Justin coming back out to the field now. He's probably about halfway done now. He's going to finish picking up these rocks. And then after that, after we pick up all the piles, he'll come back with a chisel plow and start chisel plowing this up. And then once it's chisel plowed, we'll seed it down with winter rye and a clover mix to create a sod, help the soil, and move on in our 4-year rotation, prepare the ground for next year. Good morning. Justin got all the rocks picked off the potato field last night. We got the white 285 hooked up to the chisel plow now. So he's going through the field, tearing up and smoothing out any areas that we've already harvested. I've got to go get the bush hog. Bush hog's the last of the beneficial flowers on the sides and up in the middle flower beds, so that he can go through and chisel plow that up and get it ready for planting that winter rye and clover cover crop. So he's going to do everything he can around the Elba that we have to harvest still next week, and we will get this done. Peter and Justin got this field all chisel plowed up. We did 2 passes on it, one going a long ways, and then Peter came back and did the diagonal pass just to break up any more compacted ground from harvest and any other tractor work that we had done. Anytime you're in the field, you're causing a little bit of compaction. We try to minimize as much as we can. But doing that second pass really just breaks it up good. You know, we've got the same fields. So every year, 4 years, we're in this field doing potatoes, and all the rows go the same way. So if you chisel plow the same way with the same chisel plow in the same field, you get it kind of falls into a groove. So doing that diagonal pass really breaks up the ground nicely and makes it easier to get the clods out of the field, get it to loosen up a little bit. We're going to go into the yard now, get the grain drill all loaded up with some seed, and we're going to come out and we're going to plant this.
So I'm getting ready to seed. Grain drill has 2 seed boxes. The big box is for large grain, in this case aroostook variety winter rye, holds 1,000 pounds. And then it's also got a grass box, which is for small seed, and this is a mix of 3 kinds of clover and timothy, and they independently distribute, driven by chains. So we put on about 1,000 pounds of winter rye per acre and about 15 or 20 pounds of clover hay mix per acre. So I got to finish filling the seed box, but I've got to get the setting right. This determines the rate of flow for the seed per acre. Okay, so then I got written on the inside of the cover what right side number 4. Do the same idea of setting for the grain box.
A little more. Loki. Would be nice.
This is winter rye, the variety aroostook, named after Aroostook County, Maine, where our farm's located. Well, it was bred about 40 years ago. It's the most winter hardy winter rye in the U.S. It grows later into the fall, and it starts growing again earlier in the spring than any other variety. And then that winter rye, being winter hardy, it will start growing in the spring when there are still patches of snow on the ground. Again, this aroostook variety is very winter hardy, and it grows late into the fall and it grows early in the spring. So for a short growing season area like ours, it's just what we need. And we grew this a couple of years ago. We've got a rubber-tired roller that comes behind the grain drill, and that smushes the small clover seed into the soil, increasing seed-to-soil contact. Either when we get rain or when we get dew, it's going to sprout and start growing. This is a fertilizer box, and because we're organic farmers, we don't use chemical fertilizer, so we've never used that.
Are there equivalent organic fertilizers that you could put into this fertilizer box?
Yeah, you could buy some kind of a granulated or pelletized organic fertilizer to put in. You want to go in? Now we're ready to go plant. Our technique for planting is we go around the perimeter of the field 4 or 5 times, and then we work back and forth on both headlands to create enough gaps so that when we come straight with a long row, we can lift up the grain drill at the end of the row, comfortably turn around, line up again, drop it down without really having to slow down. And then we like to do straight rows and work our way across the field. What you want to avoid doing is having gaps to where there's no seed going down, because weeds are going to come in. Weeds take advantage when there's opportunity. Once we get done seeding here tomorrow morning on this, that'll be the last time the soil in this field is touched for 3 years. We've sown winter rye and we've undersown it with timothy and clover, so it will establish a sod that's going to help build the organic matter, and we can take a cutting of hay off, we can take pasture with the cows. And then in the year that we get back, before we get into potatoes, we plant biofumigant crop and chop that and plow it down, and that cleanses the soil of pathogenic fungi and kills weed seed. And then we grow a buckwheat as well, and the beauty of buckwheat is that it improves the tilth of the soil, and it brings up phosphorus from deep in the soil up to the upper layers, so the potato crop the year following can benefit from it. So our field is really in a 4-year rotation. We're only in worked up ground for 1 year, and then we go back into sod for 3 years. So it's potatoes is a fairly intensive crop that's pretty hard on the soil, so we counterbalance that by having 3 years of soil building by having the soil in sod. So that's the last step. This field will be planted by morning, and then as soon as we get rain, we'll get germination, and this field will be set on its way for soil building for the next 3 years. Seeding down to clover and timothy sod is how we improve our soil in northern Maine in getting ready for growing another crop of organic seed potatoes. We're interested in knowing what crops you grow and what you do for a rotation. So in the comments below, let us know what you do to build your soil up and what crops you grow where you are. Thanks for watching. See you next time. And if you get value out of watching these Wood Prairie videos, it really does help us if you'd comment, subscribe, and share. Thanks a lot.